Hey, Edith. Hey, welcome. I'm just getting here. Woke up like 45 minutes ago. Okay. Oh, excuse me. But I still got here. Well, I was hitting the camera. Like, I was getting my camera set up at like 8:15. So I'm going to give myself that 4 minute credit. Okay. Okay. Let me send out notifications. Okay. Oh, shit. Forgot to put the link. And paste. Okay. Hello, Manice. Hi, Jeanette. Thank you, everybody. I'm sending him a link, and I'm multitasking, and I'm doing my lips. Okay. I summon the moderator. Let's see if she's not busy with the babies. Okay. Out, out, out. Back, back, back. And okay. Oh, wait. I Tarot's apprentice said to remind him. And he was just on like 2 hours ago. I suppose, because YouTube seems to upload things when they choose to. I got a notification from Tyler's Tarot's channel the other day, and I thought it was something new. I was like, I watched this 2 days ago, and he was talking about just now uploaded. I was like, what the hell? Thank you, YouTube. I was like, wow. All right. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Edith. Yes, everybody. Please take this time to click like and subscribe. Welcome. This is Cosmic Chat. So, no cards until after this. I will do questions and take some questions after we get done here. See, I was running around. I got warm. I turned off the heat, and now I feel cool. Hmm. Ain't that the way? Oh, okay. All right, all right. Hello, Marie. All right. Okay, so everyone. I'm not sure. I don't think. I got through my notes. I think I got through my notes pretty well. And yeah, okay. Actually, I may need it because I may need the internet because okay. I didn't get to answer, but I kind of know. I kind of know it. I like watching my videos. So, who got a chance to do their homework, and which videos did you actually get a chance to watch, and what did you think about them? So, tonight's subject we are talking about philosophy and ethics, which, other than my psych classes, I didn't care much for sociology. It seemed to me that sociology was like common fucking sense, like there are different economic circumstances, people are different, don't be racist, yada yada yada. Sociology was like basic shit. I mean, it was like, well, it should be common sense to everybody, but common sense ain't common. But for me, it was kind of a snore. But as far as and how our country, how our society got to be this way, and yada yada yada. But ethics and philosophy, my psych classes, ethics and philosophy were like my favorite classes. I really thoroughly enjoyed ethics. Um, it posted. I still have most of my ethics papers. It contained a lot of. I enjoyed world religions too, which we did that last time. It contained so many different theories and topics about what is right and true and good and the way we should be in life and society. And our philosophers are who came up with those ideas. And there's so many philosophers. We still have philosophers. Even though he is an amazing when it comes to technology, Elon Musk is an amazing philosopher of our time, believe it or not. He's the founder, owner, creator of Tesla cars, etc. So, so like I said, who got a chance to watch what, and what did you all think about it? Okay, all right. Edith says she didn't get a chance to. Where's Margie? Where's Marge? That's what I'm just gonna start calling her. We're just gonna start calling her Marge. Me either. See, nobody did the damn homework. Okay, there you are. Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, Marge. Okay, you were in second. Okay, okay. I love you. I see you. Okay. Okay, so since nobody did their damn homework, go to the corner. Everybody, right now, go to the corner. Okay. All right. Since everybody, it's okay. It's okay because I was pressed the past 2 days too. And you know what it was? You know what it was, y'all? There's another reader. He couldn't do his readings. That's how you know when somebody is like 100%. Like I said, I couldn't sleep yesterday. I was having anxiety. I had horrible anxiety attack at work last night. That's how you know who your true light workers are because we feel the cosmic energy. Cancer Moon couldn't do his reads yesterday. He had an incredible anxiety attack. And so we're on that level. We're feeling that cosmic switch. That Gemini new moon, full moon that we're transitioning out of. Ooh, honey. Like I said, that was the massive clearing out for the year so that we can set our attentions for the new year with the next moons and move forward. So it was some really big release. I feel I let go of some things that I feel it. I feel the difference upon, waking up, well, today or moving into today. I really feel like I released some things. So that's great. All right. So Marie said I was listening to three of them, and then after I clocked out, I was in and watching in between feeding, bathing, and grooming the children. Oh, thank you, Marie tried. Marie be trying to do it. See, she got children and she working and she multitasking. Y'all, I'm not even gonna fuss with y'all. I'm gonna let it go. So that being said, we might need I might need the internet tab. So to refresh my own memory, because I have watched them and that child still it's a lot to retain. And it was mostly refreshing my memory from college. So um let's start with the Erste, which in German means the first. I took German, y'all. I don't know why I didn't. I've lived in. Well, no. When I started taking German, I was in New York, and the goal was that my family was to go with my dad um, to Germany, and then I had my little brother got sick to get sick, and so that kind of delayed that. But I that was my original plan, and I'm still going. Whenever Rona lets us be free, I'm going to Germany so I can use the Ein bisschen Deutsch that I know. Um, but I should have took Espanol because we ended up moving to Houston, and I really, really, really. But I picked up a lot of Spanish along the way, and then I knew a lot of Spanish too from growing up with my people in New York. So, but it's very different than the Spanish that they speak in Houston. I can't. It's different. All right, so let's start with the Arista, or one of the first of our great philosophers, Aristotle, 384 BC, in the area of Macedonia, which is Greece. His father was a doctor, and he actually was a teacher and tutored Alexander the Great. He started one of the first schools or period and schools of philosophy. It was a secondary school called the Lyceum. Um, he mostly focused his philosophy is mostly focused on how things and people work. For instance, if you've ever heard the what came first, the chicken or the egg argument, that was one of Aristotle's main arguments. Like, how would in evolution, how would this work? I would have to say that there were some birds at some point, similar to a chicken, that evolved from the ethers, as we all did. You started out as a cell and you became a different cell and you grew to a different cell. Evolution. And then one day, some chicken fowl like creature gave birth to an actual chicken. So I would have to say, but then that would be the egg. So technically, the egg would have come first because this different little bird that was giving birth to an evolutionized bird would have not known that the little bird he was giving birth to was going to be a new and different chicken. It was going to be a chicken until the egg was laid and hatched. And out comes this new little bird. So I would technically have to say the egg came first, right? I guess. I didn't even look up what he ever, or did he ever come to an answer, or did he just sit there and constantly have discussions with Plato, who was one of his colleagues as well, about it? Okay, so um, one of the reasons that I picked the three philosophers that I picked to focus on tonight is because they focused on things that are important to us as people. Philosophers have focused on so many different topics, from astrology, which is good too, and that does pertain to us as a collective, but we all know basically most of the basic evolution of philosophy, of astrology. Or maybe we'll get into that in the next chat. We'll see. I don't know what the next subject's going to be. But one of the other topics that Aristotle focused on was what makes people happy. So I picked Aristotle, Plato, and Immanuel Kant to focus on this evening because their main focus was a lot upon human behavior and related to the things like spirituality and religion that we discuss and encounter here with the type of reader that I am, because as y'all know, I'm not answering low vibrational questions. I'm here for growth, teaching, and to help us become our better selves. And questions like, is my man cheating, don't really help us become our better selves. So, Aristotle, like I said, focused on basically how things work, the workings of the world and the universe, and what makes people happy and virtues. He had 11 virtues that he felt, and two extremes of character that he felt were present within people. And so the 11 virtues were courage, temperance, which you know is patience, because by the temperance card, um, liberality, magnanimity, pride, patience. So if temperance, so temperance, I guess would be in this term would be more like how you behave, your overall aura, or you know what kind of person you are. Are you an angry person? Are you that wild and crazy person, or are you that calm, peaceful person? Temperance. Pride, patience, constructfulness, witness, friendliness, wittiness. I'm sorry, friendliness and modesty. Okay. So these are the 11 virtues that people should strive to possess. Meaning, you know, you should be brave. You should carry yourself, temperance. That's the best explanation for temperance in this case. You should carry yourself in a certain manner. You should be liberal, which means basically you should be of good character and treat others well. Let's define the definition of magnanimity: the fact or condition of being magnanimous, generous. Okay, generosity. Okay, so we should be generous. We should be prideful, but not too prideful. You know, there's that thin line between pride and allowing your ego to take that over and becoming too proud, which is one of the seven deadly sins. Patience, we all know what that is. We should be patient and kind with others. I'm trying. I'm trying. My Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, and my three majors. I'm trying. And Taurus, and my Venus. I'm trying. With the patience thing. Wittiness. We're all witty. We should be witty and smart, which is not just being smart. It's being smart in a crisp kind of way. You know, you're witty. You're not just smart, but there are people that are quietly smart, but you should be smart and have the ability to express it in a cheerful manner, not just, you know, being smart, but with that slight air of ego to it. So ego is not always bad. We need some. Excuse me, y'all. And friendliness. We should be friendly and we should be modest. I'm working on modesty too. Because I'm the shit. Y'all know I have high self-esteem issues. My ego is such a big ego. Okay. I'm working on it. I can't. Like I said, I'm Aries, Leo, Sag. Hey. Okay. All right. So, um, and constructfulness and magnificence. So we should be magnificent, and we are. So you know we are. You have to know that you're beautiful, baby. And constructfulness, which means if you're smart, but you can't do anything with it, is it really purposeful? You know, um, you have to put that intelligence to use in some manner in order to be constructful. Okay. All right. And then he talked about the two extremes of character, which one being buffoonery and the other one being, I'm sorry, there are three. Wit, buffoonery. I don't know why I had two there. Wit, buffoonery, and boorishness. So you can either be a bland ass, boring ass person. You can be a witty, like I was saying, bright, intelligent, entertaining, charismatic person, or you can be a dumbass. You can be a complete and total buffoon. We have one of those at work. And the girls on the floor asked about this particular person, and the staff was like, "Yeah, he thinks that shit is funny. It's really not, and he really doesn't get it. And we've tried to talk to him, and he really just doesn't get it. They're like, he's a practical joker. He does stupid shit. They're like, one night." He actually went into a patient room. I work at a hospital. The nurses are monitoring the patients, right? There's somebody that has to sit there and watch those monitors to see if anybody's heart beat or pulse or oxygen level drops or the heart rate becomes erratic. Someone monitors that. She's like, so I'm sitting there watching one night, and somebody freaking flatlined that was in complete stable condition. She said, so I'm in total panic mode. I'm calling everybody in, and this is this fool in there who has unplugged the monitor lead to think and thought it was cute. And this was supposed to be a practical joke on his part. That's buffoonery, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens. You a dumbass to do some stupid shit like that. So, hi, Minnie Love. Hi, welcome everybody. Hi, Toya. So yeah, right. Wow. So that's buffoonery, or just somebody that just just everybody knows somebody that just duh, just duh, just act a complete and total ass. Okay, so that would be buffoonery. So I think that most of us here would fall in the column of wit, because we are a very entertaining, intelligent bunch of people, charismatic. I love all of you. You all have an outstanding and shining personality. No one here is in the buffoonery. Well, we had a psychic named Cody Dale. We had to get rid of that's buffoonery there. And then of course there's boorishness. If you wouldn't even be here, because this would not be your cup of tea. There's nothing boring going on up in here. That's just that person that never does anything or has any response or has any personality. They're just like a rock that if you poke it, it might say ouch, but that's all you're getting out of it. So, on further into what Aristotle believed, he believed that moral goodness is taught and is a habit. So basically, that you had to be raised right, and you had to maintain what you were taught, and ways of being good and a good person, and that people who weren't raised right, who didn't know proper morals and values, should actually be pitied, and not we should be feel sorry for them and not angry with them, and that we should help them, that we should teach them, and we should learn. For anybody who watched The Good Place, watch The Good Place. If you didn't watch The Good Place, go. It's on Netflix. Go. Don't come back here till you watch The Good Place. I'm kidding. But we had Eleanor and Chidi. And Eleanor was a complete buffoon. And Chidi was a cultured and an ethical and philosopher and a teacher. Well, but that still led him to develop his own issues within himself, but that's part of the story. But the main thing is that he took pity on her dumbass. She was a complete horrible person and knew nothing about morality and ethics because she wasn't raised right. Her parents were complete idiots. So, and just neglectful and just horrible. And so he took pity on her. And times there was that fine line when he would become angry with her, and finally, based on his reactions and anger, she got her shit together and she began to listen to him, and she began to learn, and she became a good and moral, true person. So, and that's what Aristotle is saying that we should do for others, that we shouldn't be angry for someone because they don't know any better, that we should pity them and try to help them. But everybody don't want help. That's my thing. Everybody doesn't want to help. They want to stay stupid. They want to stay stuck, as my mom could say, stuck on stupid. I'm never forget the first time she said that. She goes, "Charlie, just SOS." I was like, "SOS," and she was like, "Yeah, stuck on stupid." I was like, "Okay," so we're gonna start using that here. That's a thing now. All right, um, so basically, he felt that moral goodness was a habit, and that even if you weren't in the habit of being a good person, that you could indeed change and become a good person, and anybody was capable of such. I suppose they're all capable. But like I said, there has to be that desire to want to be a better person. Some people are just assholes and just don't give a common damn fuck. Honestly, they just, no, I'm just gonna stay here in my asshole lane. So it's what it is. And most of those people would probably be considered existentialists. We'll get into existentialism shortly. So, next, he talked about art. I'm not going to get into his theories on theater. That's kind of, eh. Other thing I did want to touch on was he felt there were three categories of friends and what those friends are for and mean to us in life. He said you have your fun bunch, the friends that you just like hang out with, have a good time. They're not much good for else. If you need money, they can't help you. If you need advice or someone to talk to, they're not there. They're just there. Hey, you want to hit the club? Okay, let's go. You want to come over and get fucked up? Okay, let's do it. But other than that, they're pretty useless. All right. Then there are friends that you benefit from. There is that friend that makes six figures or so. And you can be like, hey, you got $100 I can borrow? I'll give it back to you. I'm good for it. And they're like, sure, here. Like Jay-Z said, what's 10,000 to somebody like me? You know, that type of friend that they will do for you. That friend that you ever, and Immanuel Kant talks about this too. We'll get into that later. You ever had someone kind of use you? You know, where you were that friend that always would lend them $5, $10, $20, but when you didn't have it or they didn't need something, you didn't hear from them. That's the beneficial. You were the beneficial friend in that. But when you needed something, they couldn't help you. That was the beneficial thing there. So, I mean, and then there was the true friend, which he called the caring friend. That's us. That's the person that will sit there with you like Marie and I do and chat back and forth at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when we're feeling some kind of way. There is that friend that really cares and is upset that they live so far away that they can't be there for your dad's funeral with you. There is that friend that will listen to you cry about the same guy 50 million times. There's Marie for me. There's the true friend. Don't make me cry. Okay. Because I've never had one. I've never had one until now. I love you, girl. Okay. So, see, I'm emo tonight. Oh, this happens when you don't get good sleep. Okay. So, damn. This is light. How can... one of his other questions was, how can ideas flourish and how to get a point across? So it depends, you know. He looked into different ways of promoting ideas and getting ideas and points across to others, which led to theories of healthy argument. You know, proper ways of arguing and delivering arguments, delivering ideas, and working through those ideas with others. So those are the main things that Aristotle focused on. And he focused on them with, most of the time, he both learned from him as well, but I don't think they were that far apart in age. I didn't write down Plato's personal information, like what year he was born in. I did with Aristotle because I wanted everybody to be aware of how long humans have been processing the thoughts of proper treatment of each other and moral code. So Plato, let's see. Aristotle didn't really write any books. He did write theories and papers down, like notes, and a lot of those were transferred into book form. Let me see what y'all are talking about. Oh, thank you, Jeanette. Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. And somebody emailed me yesterday. I haven't gotten back to your email. I don't know what he means. I have to talk to him later. Okay. I was working and sleeping, and honey. Okay. So, but Plato wrote over 36 books, and a lot of his books included the theories and conversations that he had with Aristotle. Okay. So, a lot of his ideas were, a few of his ideas were that, one, we should think more. Duh. I mean, people just don't. He said he felt as though people did not put any thought or major thought into the things that they do in life and how they treat others, and just they're thoughtless, that we should think more. Period. Number two is that you should let your lover change you. Now, this is the reason I wanted to talk about Plato. When we talk about twin flames, Plato is the initiator of the twin flame theory. All right. It's called, in his words, the split apart theory, where there are two, at the beginning of creation, souls were created in two, a masculine and a feminine half. They were split and set out upon the world to learn the different lessons through each lifetime. And at some point, they come back together for a purpose, form a whole, and achieve ascension. Okay. So, I want some of his other ideas, like I said, about love was that, or main idea about love was that you should allow your lover to change you. That it's ideal to find a person who thinks the same way that you do, likes the same things, admires the same things, and is the same as you, so that it's smooth and it's comfy. But that's not the person you should choose. Basically, which is the whole thing as to why when you find your twin flame, it's hell. Because that person is there to challenge you. And that's how he felt that you should go about choosing a lover. That you should choose, if you were smart. I don't know. I can't do the stupid thing. I don't give a fuck. I can't do stupid around my house, in my life, in my bed, and on a daily basis. I can't do stupid. Masculine is not, he's intelligent. And when I say stupid, I'm not basing that on level of knowledge. Intelligence and stupidity are two different things. When I say he's intelligent. He's very intelligent. So I need to separate that. I can't do someone who's not intelligent. But his social behavior is stupid. He's very smart. He's very smart, which is why I don't understand why it is that you don't get why it is that you shouldn't be faithful. I don't get why you feel like you should be able to treat others like crap and they still be due for you. I don't get why he feels as though certain things are okay for him but not okay for others. Like, for instance, he treated me horribly, but for 8 years, but for the 4 months that I returned that favor, I can't be forgiven. But I had to forgive him repeatedly, and it's a double standard. So, but he is my opposite. For all the truth and honesty and goodness I try to project onto the world, he does the opposite. He's not very honest, he's not very kind, he's just not very, he is, but there's something to it. You know what I mean? He can be, but there's always something to it. So he's like my opposite, where I'm sweet and kind, he's an ass. And we've talked about this many times. So here on the channel. So he's saying that you should pick someone who has the traits that you don't have. If you're a clean person, which is one of the other issues with him, if you're clean and you keep your home in order and you like things, I'm OCD. It's got to be a certain way. he will throw shit everywhere. You know what I mean? You should find someone who is, like I said, maybe a little bit more like, I'm very kind. He's kind of like a bully. You know, you should find, that's what he says. You should find someone who has the attributes that you don't possess and allow yourselves to balance out and to learn from each other. And that you shouldn't love a person as they are. You should encourage them to do better as they should you. Okay? So that was his theory, right? To challenge you. Exactly. So that was his theory. He talked about things of beauty and ugliness. And he felt like all of these things had meaning and purpose in our lives. That things of beauty pushed us to be better as well. Because think about it. If you didn't value beautiful things, your house would be horrible. You get what I'm saying? Your house would be absolutely horrible. If you didn't value, if you wouldn't give a damn what your chairs looked like, you wouldn't care if it was pretty. I'm in the process now of covering, I'm like halfway done. I'm in the process of covering. Let me see if I can show you without disturbing everything that we know and are watching. I'm in the process of covering. I'm going to turn my camera around so y'all can see my living room furniture. Because it was given to me and it's brown and ugly. So I don't like that. I want it to be black and to match the rest of the decor of my home. So y'all get to see a little bit of Mr. Joy's living room. So I'm in the process. Like I said, I have to get another day off so I can finish. But yeah, camera's about where I had it. Right. So I'm doing my own covers. And I don't believe in buying them. I like them to look a certain way. My grandmother sewed, so I know how to do these things, and I'm working on it. I'm getting there. So I'm in the process of covering them because I want them to look pretty. And so that's costing me money. Why would I, and you need money to pay your bills, maintain your home, and to make it pretty. So he innately feels like, things that are beautiful or pretty, you don't just, some people do. I don't understand those people, but it helps motivate you. Things of beauty help to motivate you throughout life, even if it's yourself. Doing your hair, your nails, you need money to get your nails did so that they can be pretty. You don't want ugly nails. You don't want ugly hair. You don't want ugly furniture. You want nice decorations on your walls. So this is a motivation for you to work and to make money and to provide. So do you see where he felt like beauty was definitely a benefit, and the aesthetic things in life were things that help to motivate us and to drive us and keep us on track. So you can do a wish list or material. Right. So and ugliness as well, because that's the opposite. No one wants to be ugly. So the hair industry is amazing, man. Beauty supply stores are killing it out here. Makeup, things that, you know what I'm saying? These are things that drive you to strive to move away from the ugliness and toward beauty. So he felt that these things had their place in life. All right. And and the reform of society. He felt that, as with Aristotle, like Aristotle said, that you shouldn't be angry with people who wasn't raised right and don't know any better, that we should be trying to help them and encourage them and teach them and not just lock them up and throw away the key. So he talked about reforming society and teaching people better ways and allowing people, like the big theme running through the world right now, and that Black Lives Matter. Racism is a learned behavior, sadly. Because if you put two babies next to each other, they're going to play. They don't care. what color the other one is. All they see is somebody to have fun with. And so it's a learned behavior. And it's something that needs to be reformed within society. Now, and Taro's Apprentice is not here. And this is the topic that I wanted Taro's Apprentice here for. Right, exactly, Toya. I wanted Taro's Apprentice here for this topic. He's not here. I'm going to get him. But Plato had an interesting theory, and I feel like it applies to the United States at the current time. He didn't care for democracy. And don't panic, because, yeah, it's fair that we should, and at the end of the day, have a say-so about who governs us. However, and I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't know who you voted for. I don't know your life. But over here, it was Biden and Harris. Okay? Because the alternative was just stupid. We just talked about stupidity and buffoonery. That man, number 45, is a complete and total buffoon. So, that being said, Plato's theory was that while, yeah, it seems fair to say that everyone should have a say and a vote in who governs them, however, would you let your 5-year-old vote? Should someone who's just unaware, uneducated, and unenlightened as to how our government works, what is at stake when you appoint someone to an office, and just the general workings of society and government, would you feel comfortable with that person alone picking the person who governs you? Basically, his theory was that no, democracy is bad because everyone should not have the right to vote. Only people who were educated about society and economics and politics and the issues of the world should have the right to vote. Because basically what ends up happening is you have a bunch of dumbass Trump supporters voting. Why would you vote for a liar and a buffoon? Why would you do so? Why? Are you intelligent enough to vote? I would say clearly not. I would say about half of our country is not intelligent enough to have voted. Because do you understand what's happening right now? At this current time, and if you paid any attention to politics and the news, we have people of other countries, we have that are trying shit they've never tried before because America is not standing in the position that we used to stand. We have assassinations. We have current uprisings that normally a good POTUS would send help for and help too. But this man is so consumed with the fact that he lost. I lost. They're lying. They stole it. They stole the election. I lost. That he's not even paying attention to our health. He has not even addressed COVID since the election. He's playing golf and he's calling and threatening people and he's attempting to have our votes thrown out. And he's throwing a complete and total tantrum. Okay? Right, exactly, Toya. They just will. These were the people that were actually drinking the bleach, and you let them vote. These are the people that are saying there's a mass conspiracy. with the voting. These are people that feel like this man really holds them and us or gives a fuck about our greatest and highest of good. You should not be voting. You are not intelligent enough to vote. I said it. I don't care. I said it. You're not smart enough to have voted. And this was Plato's issue with democracy, that if you let everybody vote, you're going to end up like we are currently, with some dumbass sitting there in the POTUS seat that has tanked our country and let most of us die. So that's one of the reasons why with Plato is one of my favorite, because he had so many awesome, he was really, this makes sense. From the how we choose a lover, to the we need to think more, to he was awesome. Just beautiful. Just awesome. Love Plato. Love it. Because no, everybody should not. Everybody should not. I'm just, Cletus from the trailer park should not be voting. Get her done. Just saying. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, if you don't like it, click off. I'm just saying. And this was Plato's theory. And a lot of people disagreed, but they didn't feel like this could happen, but it happened. We had enough people step up to make change, thank God. But it happened, man. For 4 years, we've been dealing with this crap, man. He has opened our country up to being completely, we're vulnerable right now. If somebody attacks us right now, I hate to say, other than the fact that we have the manpower, because people stopped going. Do you know the military enrollment is down? Because this was not a safe time to go into the military, because we, at any given time, he could have sent our country to war over some dumb shit, because dumb people do dumb shit. So our military enrollment is not even at a functioning level as to where we used to be. Okay? We might be ass out right now if somebody were to attack us. We don't know what these other countries are planning. Then you buddied up to some of the worst leaders in the free world. Kim Jong-un, he had no damn business. What are you talking to? Who? Why? What? And the Russians are his friends now. But they haven't been our friends since 1960 something. What the fuck? Who the? No. Everyone should not have the right to vote. I'm so sorry. I agree with Plato. Okay. Right. Right. But Toya, no, some of it is affecting them. Some of it is them. Some of them it is them. Because do you honestly think that Donald Trump cares any more about people of other cultures? Because you know he doesn't care about the Latinos, but most of Florida went to him. They voted for him. I don't know what he said to them stupid people, but they listened. He doesn't care about the trailer park trash. But they're out there with Trump signs all over the trailer parks. I know there's plenty of them here in North Carolina, honey. He doesn't care about Black people. He doesn't care about Middle Eastern people. He doesn't care about Asian people because they like to kill us all. They actually called it the China virus. Are you serious? He doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself and his little clique. Now he's sitting there about to pardon a bunch of people for crimes that they... It has been a disregard, a disrespect, and an abuse of power. And I hate to say it, but any damn body who voted for him is a dumbass. And what amazed me was to watch the Trump rallies and see little dark faces peppered into the audience. I'm like, what are y'all doing there? He don't love y'all. So disappointed in Kanye. Yeah, we know he crazy, but right. And then you're right. And then it's not hard to piss China off. Now you done pissed them off. You know, they're more technologically advanced. You know, they got shit over there that just they got shit over there we probably don't even know about. We're sitting around talking about nuclear bombs. They probably come up with some little death ray that they could probably just point at America and fuck us up. We don't even know it. You just can't go fucking with. But somebody voted for him. And was that person competent enough to vote? Probably not. And this was Plato's idea. This is why he did not like the idea of democracy. Okay? All right. So we're going to move on from Plato to Immanuel Kant. So he is my absolute favorite philosopher. Why? Because he wasn't religious. He was raised in a very religious home. He was raised in Prussia, which is like right outside of Germany in that, well, no, like it more like in the Russian area, like in Austria, Russian area. Okay. He was raised in Prussia, Pernenberg. He was lower middle class. His father was a horse cedar, something like that. I think he made saddles and stuff like that for horses and shoes and stuff like that. Um, his parents were very religious, very, very religious, but he kind of just didn't believe in the idea of secular God, which we'll get into that next. We'll talk about Ansel's argument for God and everybody's opinion about that. Um, he believed that there was a God, pretty much, but that God didn't govern us, that there was a creator. And while there were possibly entities and things, which is part of what I believe that help to govern us and guide us, because we got our spirit guides and we know we've got them now. We hear them, some of us see them, we're interacting with them, we're wakened. So he didn't believe that God had control over things like people pray for God to change things. He's like, you're praying for nothing. That's not going to happen. And we have to make those changes within ourselves and for ourselves. That basically God just said, here's the universe, here's the earth, here's your planet. Make it do what it do. Or done my part. Deuces. That he wasn't a God that oversaw or could perform miracles, that all of that was present within us to do. And I agree. I absolutely agree. He reasoned that we should preside by a common sense code of moral conduct without having to have the presence of a God. And I've said this many times. Yeah, Toya, right. The Apprentice show. It was terrible. It was. I agree with you. He was a bully then. So, and I don't see based on that show. I agreed. Based on that show, how did you vote for him? But basically, Immanuel Kant had the theories or called the categorical imperatives. Basically, the categorical imperatives were to do unto others as you have them do unto you. Period. It's not a hard moral code. You stick to your basic ethics. Don't lie, don't steal, don't treat other people like crap. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I put this in common sense terms so y'all would understand because Kant was very wordy. And I didn't want to be wordy up here. I wanted to break it down in the layman's terms so that everybody could understand, which means that, like I was saying about my masculine, okay, I'm a very open-minded person. I would have been okay if we were, say, to agree to have had an open relationship where, okay, you want to go out and see someone else, that's fine. Don't bring that shit in home. Or if I want to go out and see someone else, that's fine, if that's what we agreed to. But he felt as though he could go out and do what he wanted to do while I was supposed to be good and loyal and faithful still. No, what's good for you is good for me. If it's okay for you to steal from others, then don't get mad when somebody comes stealing your shit. If it's okay for you to lie to people, then don't get pissed off when people are running around not telling you the truth. If it's okay to you to treat a person a certain way, then it's okay for that person to treat you a certain way. So basically, like I said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander was one of his. If you're going to treat people in a certain way, you have to fully expect people to treat you in that same manner. Therefore, you shouldn't treat people any kind of way. All right. The next one is you should never treat anyone as a means to an end. In other words, don't use people. Don't use people. If the only reason you come around is because I give you money, which which I said we would touch on back when we were talking about Aristotle's theories about friendship and it being you being the useful friend or the what was the word he used? Where'd it go? I write entirely too little. Virtues, friends, beneficial friend, he called it. Yeah. So that's the person that always wants to ride somewhere, but they never have gas money. That's the person that always wants to borrow the money from you, but they don't want to return the money, or or they can't help you when you need something. You shouldn't use a person as a means to an end. You shouldn't, that's like living with someone and saying, I love you every day when you're just doing that because you need somewhere to live. You really don't give two fucks about that person. I'm just going to be nice to this person because I want them to do my hair. I'm just going to be kind to this person because I want them to pick me up from work. I really don't like you. I just need a ride. You shouldn't use a person as a means to an end. Common sense. And what was the fourth one? I didn't write down the fourth one. Shit. But it's okay. That's what it was. That you should always do the right thing. In the videos that y'all didn't watch, it talked about this by giving this scenario. Say person A answers the door. All right. So we're going to name them. We're going to name them Joe and Sally. So say Sally comes to the door and there's a man on the other side of the door. Joe's in the kitchen, okay, in the back of the house. But Joe can hear the person at the door. So the person comes to the door and tells Sally, hey, Joe here. I'm here to kill him. I'm whatever reason, I'm really angry with Joe. I'm here to kill him. And Sally says, no. But Joe hears this. And Sally goes, no. Joe's not here. So Sally lies. Sally lies for Joe. So Joe runs out the back of the house because he heard the conversation when it started. When the person said, hey, this is such and such. Joe said, oh shit, he's here to kill me. I'm out. He goes out the back of the house. Now, he runs around the front of the house, and because Sally lied and told the person Joe wasn't there, this person is still at the door at the front of the house. Whereas, had Sally told the truth, as Immanuel Kant says you always should do, the person would have come through the house and gone to the kitchen where Joe had run out of the back and could have possibly gotten away. So therefore, it's Sally's fault, no matter how indirectly, that Joe still got shot in the front yard because she lied, which kept that person at the front door. Do you get what I'm saying? Did you get that? It was in the video. You should have watched the damn video. So basically, that there's going to be a consequence if you lie. period. So never, never, never lie. There's going to be a consequence, or it's if you steal. So never, never, never steal. And that you may not see that consequence, or there may be that there's reasoning for everything. And when you are dishonest, and when you are, untrue, or you do things that are immoral, that it will work in a way that will fuck up somehow. So even though she felt she was doing the right thing by telling the person at the door that Joe wasn't there, she got Joe fucked up. When had she told the truth, Joe might have actually gotten away, because the dude would have been in the house looking for Joe while Joe was on the run. There's another. Okay, I'm old, and I used to watch Woody Woodpecker. And my mom loves this because, and she was like, she's like, you always took the most profound lessons from shit that I never, and I used to say all the time, I used to watch Woody Woodpecker. And there's an episode of Woody Woodpecker, I wish I could find it, maybe I can find it, where they took it off. They said Woody was too violent for kids, so they don't show Woody anymore. But yet you have video games where there's murder and blood. And anyway, there's Grand Theft Auto, but we can't watch Woody Woodpecker. Anyway, there's an episode where something happened, and Woody it wasn't even his fault, but he kind of got caught up in a situation where, had he just went to the police and said, hey, this happened, it wouldn't have caused him the next problem that he had. And then it led to a bigger problem. And then that led to a bigger problem. And then that led to an even bigger problem. And all through, there was this guy that kept coming, this voice, or I don't remember if it was so long ago. I don't remember if it was just a voice or a little man that kept popping up, that every time the next thing happened to Woody because of what he didn't, because he didn't go to the police in the first place, the guy would pop up and go, if Woody had gone straight to the police, this would never have happened. And then the next thing happened, and it was worse than the last thing. It was like a domino effect. And so this was Kant's theory about that if you tell the little lie, then it leads to the bigger thing, and then the bigger thing, and then the bigger thing, and then the bigger thing. When had you just done the right thing in the first place, if Woody had just gone straight to the police, this would never have happened. And I used to say it all the time, and my mom would be like, if you don't shut up. Because I would be like, Mom, if you had just done this would never have happened. So that's that theory. So he said you should always do the right thing. That it just leads to a bunch of shit when you don't. That if you had just told the truth in the first place. It's like if you dropped a thumbtack on the floor while you were doing something and you said, I'll get it later. You know damn well at some point you or somebody else is going to step on that thumbtack. Had you just picked up that thumbtack in the first place, you'd have never stepped on it. Okay? The cartoon is on Netflix. I have to check it. Is it the old cartoon, Toya? If it's, I don't want to see no new shit. I don't want to see any new shit. So, next, let's talk about, do we want to start with, okay, let's start with, let me look, hold on. Utilitarianism. Okay? Utilitarianism. Since you didn't watch the video, the example given in the video is You know how Batman will kill anybody? You know how the Joker just he breaks out of Arkham and he wreaks havoc on the world and he kills all kinds of people and does all kinds of evil things, but when Batman finally catches his ass, he still won't kill him. That is utilitarianism. That is sticking to your morals no matter how bad it gets. That is the fact that no matter how many people the Joker has killed, in order to spare the lives of more people, possibly in the future, Batman still just won't kill him. He takes him back and they throw him in Arkham, and you know he's going to get out again, and you know he's going to kill again. So why don't you just kill the man? At the end of the day, Batman feels like killing someone is just wrong, and he's just not going to be able to do it. He's just not going to do it. That is utilitarianism. That is sticking to your morals despite what good could come of you doing something that was slightly immoral. And is it immoral? That's the argument against the death penalty, which is an ethical dilemma. So we'll touch on one of those now. We'll touch on, as we move through the next couple of topics, we'll touch more on ethical dilemmas in addition to these philosophies. Because someone murdered someone or multiple people, do we have the right to decide that a person should be put to death? Right, despite the crazy. Is it right to take a life because someone took a life? Remember back in the day and in certain Middle Eastern cultures overseas, the compensation for the punishment for stealing was to cut off the hand that you stole it with. Is that moral? Is that right? Are we to play God? I am of the mind that no one should be put to death. I feel like you're going to suffer more if you live. I feel like killing them, honestly, is the easy way out of the situation. Hold on, y'all. I got to turn on my heat. I'm sorry, I get cold. Killing somebody is the easy way out. Where's my sweater? I feel like a person should be removed from society and jailed so that they don't hurt others. However, I think killing the person is the easy way out for them. I feel like they would be subjected to far worse suffrage if they just had to stay here and deal with life like the rest of us. Does this feel like fun to you? I'm just saying. Prison rape doesn't sound very entertaining to me. But you're going to save that person from all of that. What punishment is that? So you put them in a cell and you feed them alone most of the time. And you feed them every day. And they don't have to pay bills. And they don't have to do anything. And they don't have to. Where is the punishment? Where's the punishment? Where is it? And then you're killing them by lethal. So I don't think that there's got to be a better way. I don't think that is accurate. I don't think that that's a good idea. Um, like I said, I feel like that's giving the person the easy way out. And then who pays for that death? Who exactly does whose karma does that death fall upon? Does it fall upon the prosecutor? Does it fall upon the judge that gave the sentence? Does it fall upon the person initiating or giving the lethal injection or hitting the switch for the chair? Who is actually the murderer here? Does I don't, you know, I'm with Immanuel Kant, and where I don't feel like God really has a hand in what we do and don't do on a daily basis, but the term to play God is still accurate. Is that really our call as other people? And you can't be mentally healthy. There's something not right up here if you are a serial killer or some other type of perverse criminal. So is this the answer? Maybe those people should be sent for scientific study. Since your rights are taken away and you become a ward of the government or the state, shouldn't we be experimenting on these people? I'm just saying, maybe we should be experimenting on these people to figure out why. Has anyone ever thought to study the brain patterns, do EEGs and all kinds of other, you know, testing on people who have murdered others or murderers or um pedophiles or really? So I don't agree with having. I don't. That's I feel like that's giving them the easy way out. I really, really do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Edith, exactly. Like I said, something is wrong with the person that committed the crime. Whether, like you said, in a rage in that moment or just mentally not with it. Because who cuts somebody up and puts them in their freezer? That's not, something is wrong up there. So shouldn't that be treated in a different manner? I, when the only letter of the law is, it pertains to if you know it's wrong, which is how that goes. They're like, if you're aware or you know that said behavior was wrong, then you're responsible for that behavior. But there are people who, no matter how wrong they know something is, or something in them still compels them to do so. I mean, what if possession is real? What if we have spirit guides that are kind to us and are here of our greatest and highest of good? What if someone has some type of spirit guidance that does not? And that's what is telling them and guiding them to do these things. Think about how we feel. Edith and I talked about this when we talked about your mom ignoring your calling to be a light worker and hearing spirit and doing the greatest and highest of good. I was called to this. I can't not do what I do. I was miserable before I did. Before I realized what my path was and what I was supposed to be doing, I was innately unhappy. And that spirit way of making me do what I'm supposed to be doing. So if good spirits, if spirit has a way, or the universe has a way of making us or compelling us to do what it is that we're guided to do, what if someone is being compelled, propelled, and guided by something that is innately evil? I mean, it seems like, right. See, Toya, and that's what I feel like. Okay, if you do this, I feel like, yeah, there should be some form of punishment, But as that form of punishment, yeah, maybe you should have to be subjected to experimentation, or not cruel experimentation, because still, it's still a being, it's still a person, you know? So I guess in a way, I believe in but however, I believe in utilitarianism. However, I'm not Batman. If you're killing or hurting someone in my presence, I'm not going to stand by and allow it. I don't take kindly. I've never taken a life. And I don't think that it would be an awesome feeling to have taken a life. I'm pretty sure that regardless to the situation, it would bother me on a higher level, but or after the fact, but I would have to take peace in the fact that okay, this guy was trying to kill this little girl and I had my gun on me and I killed him. I would still save a life. I would not be Batman. I could not do. So I guess in a way I agree. I feel like Arkham is a sorry, it's a sorry facility. But at the end of the day, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with Batman. But I mean, if a person is just to that point where they're just not gonna stop, and I do believe that sometimes a person should have to go to extreme measures. They should have gone to some more extreme measures. So how does he keep getting all those people to help him get out? I don't get it. That's just what I just did not get. How do you keep getting you sometimes you have to go to extreme measures. Did you see in X-Men? Did anybody see the X-Men where they had Magneto in an all plastic cage, dropped down in a big ass plastic container, basically, to where he could not glass and plastic, to where he could not get out because he couldn't manipulate the metal. Magneto manipulates metal. For those of you who aren't X-Men fans, shame on you. Um, you should have to go to extremes to if that person's just like compelled to kill, like the Joker just gets out and just kills like that. You should go to extremes to protect society from that person. And I guess if it gets bad enough, like nothing is gonna get in our society bad like in um Batman. But you still have to still have to say at a certain point in that case, I think I might have to go ahead and off the Joker. Cause damn, it's nothing is working. About the fourth or fifth time, this fool gets out and goes on a killing spree, and nobody can seem to stop it or do anything about it. I would have to say, somebody please send Wolverine in there to handle it, because Batman ain't doing it, and it's just getting worse. Okay, hold on. That went the wrong way. I'll be back. Okay. I made it. I'm alive. Okay. So, I think I have to kill the Joker after so many times. If for no other reason than I'm just tired of dealing with the shit. I mean, in that sense, how many lives are you going to let somebody take if you can't control them? Okay, so. All right, so moving on. All right, so we touched on utilitarianism. Let's talk about Ansel's argument for God. Ansel's argument for God basically talks about which I chose to go into that after utilitarianism because, like I said, in utilitarianism it addresses should you kill somebody, should you murder the murderer, basically, and innately is that not playing God of sorts? So Ansel's argument for God, which one of philosophers' main arguments for years has been, is there or is there not a God? And if so, is there one God? Are there many gods? Is there like a little council of little godlike people? Is there, what is it? Who is it? Where is it? Why is it? Is it? And his argument was that everything has to somewhat have been created, right? But I guess I do not believe in I don't know. I have to say, as far as God in the form of a creator, I don't know. Ansel basically said that anything that God is like the bestest thing that you could ever imagine. So imagine the greatest thing that you could ever imagine, and God is greater than that. Okay, I guess. Like I said, Immanuel Kant believed there is a God, and this is more so what I would believe, that the major God, the biggin, the whoever would be the actual creator. First of all, that's when people was like, you should pray to God. Okay, no. And I wouldn't even label it that. I would say that a God would be a lesser being than the ultimate creator. So let's just say that I would call it that. I would say there's the ultimate creator who created because this is basically, all right, let me explain why or how I came to this or how this was given to me. I have a spirit guide. Oh, my ears had closed up and they opened. Yes. And I tried blowing my nose when I was back there and it wouldn't do anything. But I have been in the 5D in dream realm. I have been, my spirit guide has said, my spirit guide is not a humanoid, a human being, period. My spirit guide is an otherworldly being of some sort. He wears a robe. He's tall. He looks similar to there was a show that came on briefly on PBS called Beanbah, if anybody had small children, a while back. And that's kind of what his head looks like. I can't explain it. You'd have to see him. So he's an otherworldly being. I would assume that is because I am a star seed. If you don't know what star seeds are, that's what we'll talk about in the next cosmic chat. We'll talk about star seeds. For those of you who don't know what that is, or how to know if you are one. I know my whole star story. I'm a Lyrian star seed. Um, so, but basically, a star seed is someone whose soul didn't come from this realm or this planet. That this your soul came from or was originally born on another planet, another solar system, another place. Um, the Lyrian planets were destroyed. There were two, from what I understand. Like we have one planet here, Earth, in our solar system that's in the habitable zone. Lyria had two that were in their habitable zone. And they said we had two suns. And everything pulled on the solar system pulled it on each other in a way that there were two smaller suns that provided enough warmth and solar energy and allowed for two habitable planets within the solar system. And basically, our solar system, our planets were destroyed. There was a war with the reptilians, and they won. A lot of people died, a lot of people lived and were relocated to the Pleiadian solar system. Okay? So I know y'all are just like, yeah, some of y'all may click off and be like, Mrs. Joy is the next level of crazy, but I mean, it is what it is. So, my spirit guide, I've gone to what's called, and I have a coworker that had a coworker in Houston, Miss Elsa, who we talked about it. She was like, I've been there. I know what you're talking about. And she started describing it to me. We were describing exactly the same thing. We had another coworker that was standing there listening, and he was like, yeah, I'm out. He was like, y'all are really, he's like, I know y'all are telling the truth, but my brain is not ready for all that. So he just kind of walked away from the conversation. But basically, if you've heard of the Akashic Records, there's an Akashic library. And from what he was telling me, is that I talked about this a while ago on my channel. What he was telling me was that, and I was like, well, are the Akashic Records here? He was like, yeah, that's many, many miles beneath us. He was like, and only certain people have access to that. That's like, it's like confidential information what's in everyone's Akashic Records. And he was like, in the Akashic Records, it contains everything about each individual soul, each individual soul's journey through each life. And what else did he say? And all the soul contracts that we say we want to see. I would love to see what my soul contract for this life says. I really would like to see it, but we're not privy to that knowledge, which is to me like a contradiction. But anyway, so there's a library, and he said everything, every note, every book, every letter, every paper, every journal, everything ever written, ever was there. And it was huge. We were sitting at this table, and there were books and papers and shit everywhere. And it looked like a library, but it looked like it was like an open atrium. There was like the floor area, and then there were like balconies, all what looked like balconies all around, but there were floors going up, just high as I could not even see. And it was the most amazing thing. So the first time I was there with him, or that he took me there, was to study and so I could be taught things. Because there was a point, I still every now and then have one. But there was a point, and he was like, what you're going to learn, I'm going to teach you in a short period of time, and you won't remember everything now, but you remember it as you need it. So he was like, it's like in your brain, and you'll need it it'll come to you when you need it, but it's there. So I was there for classes. It pretty much, the last time was about 3 or 4 months ago. And so every now and then I'll be there in dream realm in 5D, and he'll give me lessons, and I'll be sitting there, and I'll wake up and I won't remember exactly what he said, but I'll just know that when I need that information, when I call on it, it'll come to me. And like the first time I was there, I was just looking around, and I do remember him saying to me, "Well, are you listening?" And I was like, "No." I am not listening. What in the entire hell? And so he explained to me where I was and what was going on and how this was going to work. And so from that, I have to say this. There is not, there is a creator, but as far as people assuming, and I posted this on my Facebook page, and my cousin inboxed me, she said, "You know what? That is the most amazing thing anyone has ever said, and it really enlightened me." And my cousin is like, we were like born woke. We're on it. My aunt is an amazing woman. They say she's crazy, but she's not. She is, but she's not. She's not. And her brain works in a way that we don't understand right now. And to assume that the creator has time for you is a very, how was it? It's an arrogant assumption. What makes you think? Because think about it. As you look up into the sky, every little twinkling light that you see is a star or a planet, a sun, excuse me, or a planet. Most of them are suns, like our sun, or different than our sun, because you got red dwarfs, blue dwarfs, white dwarfs. You get what I'm saying. Of different sizes that they're categorized. Every sun, every star that you see has the possibility to have planets around it and has planets around it. So do you honestly think that as you look up at all of those suns, that we're the only planet that possesses life? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. So as you look up, the E's are right, Edith. So we'll get into that next we're going to talk about star seeds next time. And I will post a video about it. Watch it. Moving forward. So what would make you think that down here, third rock from the sun, little old Earth, that the creator has time to be paying attention to the fact that Trump is in office? So there is a hierarchy. You have your creator, and then we have gods. Okay? The trick was that just like when you create a bunch of people, you can't guarantee all those people are going to be good people. When you create and allow for gods, you can't guarantee that they're all going to be good ones. There are indeed texts that are hidden. One of them being, and I've talked about this before too, the books of Enoch, where it is actually insinuated and said that Yahweh is not good. So, you have to assume that your God means you the greatest and highest of good. But you also have to assume that you're just like the creator, you're not the only one that he has to pay attention to. So there has to be, for obvious reasons, more than one God. Just like there has to be more than one teacher in a school. You can't have one teacher for a whole planet. That makes no sense. How could you possibly teach anybody anything or focus on individuals and their needs when there are billions of people on this planet? So the need for Oya and Oshun and Yahweh and Allah and Shiva and Shakni and Krishna, and you know what I'm saying? There's a need because can everyone God can't do it all. Period. But Ansel believed that one God could. That one God was all powerful, all knowing, all omniscient. I don't think it's possible. Even the Bible says that we were given the same powers as God. Therein lies our power of manifestation, our right to alchemy, our ability to work magic. Under your gods are your seraphim. You have different choirs of angels. You have different levels of angels. I was just actually touching on this as well. I was just watching something about it, the different forms that angels take. And it said that there were different levels. We'll get into that in another, but there's seraphim. There's many there's different categories of angels. Okay. And they have different jobs and they do different things. And then, but what most people don't know is while everybody wants to classify angels and demons, they're the same thing. Because in Christianity, while people consider the devil a demon, you know that he was an angel, right? Right? You know, he started out as an angel and that didn't change. Just because you become a bad person doesn't mean that you're not still a person. So it's just like us. You can give birth to a person, but whether that person grows up to become a good person or a bad person, it doesn't take away from the fact that they're still a person. So for Ansel's argument for God to be almighty, all-knowing, and all-omniscient, I can't get with it. And neither could Immanuel Kant. So from there, you go into other areas of thought, which is going to take us into existentialism. Now, existentialists believe, while some do kind of sort of believe in a creator, they really kind of don't believe in a God. Because not an omniscient God, not a God that controls us and governs us and says, okay, this is right or wrong. They believe that the universe just is. Some of them believe there was a creator, some of them don't. But for those of them who lead toward the don't believing that there is a creator, that things just kind of evolve scientifically, and they also believe that there's no reason for anything. And that life only has the meaning that you give it. That basically religion and moral confines exist to keep order because we need that. If everybody figured out or thought that, I don't know if Scientology falls into that, Toya, because Scientology still believes in God and that there's a certain way that you should do things and there's certain meaning for things. So that wouldn't fall under existentialism. Existentialism is more the belief that the universe is kind of created on scientific means only. That religion only exists to insert moral code into our lives so that we can have order. Because if everybody figured out or discovered that there's no punishment for killing someone, there's no real punishment, karma, otherwise, for stealing something or lying or doing anything bad or immoral, we would have a purge society. We would have complete and total chaos. which is where the need for some type of moral code, whether exhibited through God or government or just whatever beliefs or not, still, for the safety of everyone and the sanity of everyone, needs to be some type of moral code and guidance. Because like I said, we'd have a purge society, there'd be complete and total chaos if people figured out that there was no actual meaning to anything, which is like what existentialism means. They believe that basically there's no meaning for the universe, things work randomly and scientifically, and that it doesn't really matter. Your life only has the meaning that you lend it. That we're not actually guided to help each other. We just choose to because we feel like that's what's true and right is good and good. That there's no such thing as karma. That no matter what choices you make, you're still just be all right. You know, that it, and the example given was in the videos that y'all didn't watch, a man was his only child, and his mother was old and sick, and a war broke out to which he wanted to go fight because it was fighting for a cause that he believed in, but that would mean leaving his mother behind and alone. So his dilemma was it better to go fight the fight for the greater good, or was it better to stay home and care for his mother and bring joy to one person only? Okay. The answer is there is no correct answer. You have to do what's right and true for yourself. Meaning that in certain and most instances in your life, what's true and right and good only applies how you apply it. Because, for instance, going back to Batman, his utilitarianism wouldn't work for me in society. Because honestly, after a point, like I said, I would feel like, man, just kill him. Can we just kill him? Just to stop him, not because of a form of punishment, but just to stop him from killing so many other people. Okay? And how does that apply to things that aren't people? For instance, COVID is a living thing. All right, now, did you hear me? COVID is a virus. A virus, you know, they show you the picture of it. That little cell that looks like the brown prickly thing, that is alive. It's a living thing. COVID is alive. It will get into your body and kill you, but it is alive. So basically, we're trying to kill it. Do you get what I'm saying? Y'all don't hear me. They're saying existentialism means that life only has the value that you give it. If you feel like you want to, in Houston, there's a whole little society of homeless people. We should all get jobs and have a place to live and put a roof over our heads. But if that's not what's important to you, if it's easier and convenient to you to live on a corner and eat out of trash cans, then that is the value that you've given your life and yourself. And who are we to question that? Existentialists believe that there's no rhyme or reason to the universe. Like I said, that the only reason we're called to do good is because we wanna. And that if we chose to do bad, then that would have no different effect on us than anything else. There's no heaven, there's no hell. There's not going to be any punishment, really, if no one catches you and punishes you. That you would go on living your life just like anybody else. If you were to take a life, say, in a back alley when it was just me and you killed me and walked away and nobody knew and nobody punished you and nobody saw, that you'd still be just cool, because there's no real meaning. There's no real punishment. There's no real nothing. We're just here, and we're just animals, and we're just parts of science and a meaningless world and a meaningless universe and love has no meaning, and none of that has any meaning. None of that means shit. It's just chemical reaction within our brain that produces oxytocin and makes us feel some kind of way. Love. And that is simply to continue on in nature. Because without it, think about it, y'all. Think about it. If sex didn't feel good, would most of us have kids? If we didn't love anybody, would most of us have kids or care to bring someone into the life that you would love and nurture? It's simply, they believe that chemical reaction within our brain is simply a trick of science and nature to get us to continue to procreate. That it's really not real either. So are we grasping, hi Lene? Are we grasping, who else is here? Who else am I missing, y'all? Are we grasping what existentialism is? That there's really nothing. That we could basically go purge and there would be no major consequences. It would just be whatever. Everything's still going to go on. We're still going to live and die just like any other day. So that in existentialism, in its truth, is the ultimate form of atheism. Because you just believe that, you're conscious, none of that these things just exist for scientific reasons, the maintenance of science and life. Existentialism. Life only has the meaning and the purpose that you assign it. I have spirits in my head to tell me otherwise. But that's what existentialism is. Now, I recently, because existentialism is essentially about the meaning of life, when you hear someone say that they're having an existential crisis, that doesn't mean that they don't believe in anything. That innately means that they're trying to figure out, what the fuck am I here for? Or they find out that, or they challenge that purpose where you felt like you have a purpose. I feel like I have a purpose. But just a couple of weeks ago, I had a complete mental breakdown because I actually had an afterlife experience and had to come back here. And I didn't do well with that. I didn't want to come back here. But they told me I had a purpose and I wasn't done with that. So I had to come back. So upon getting back here to this hell and leaving the peaceful place that I was and didn't want to leave, I had a breakdown. I cried for about 4 or 5. Actually, I cried for about 4 or 5 days straight, uncontrollably. But I've still had periods of on and off with it up until yesterday. Because it made me wonder, okay, I understand that this is my purpose. I understand that this is my path. My question is, why the fuck it got to be so hard? That was my question. And that's what I was grappling with. And that's what made me feel like, and really go look into existentialism as to a means of determining, but I determined that I'm not an existentialist. I do know that I have a purpose, and I do feel that there is karma, and I do feel that there is justice, and I do feel that there is, but at the end of the day, there are people who don't. And it seems apparent sometimes. You ever seen somebody? It seems like they just don't get their fucking karma. You ever seen somebody that seems like they just don't pay for what the fuck they've done? That they seem to be, but my grandmother always explained that away to me by saying that Sometimes a person is going through things up here that you can't see and are not tangible. Whatever. I want to see you suffer for what you did to me. And I mean, I know that that's not of a higher vibration, but I don't feel I'm supposed to achieve that particular vibration in this lifetime, or maybe I am. I'm not over. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. I didn't want to come back. Damn it. So it made me question why. Why do I have to be here? Why is this my purpose? Why do I have to go through this? Why did I have to go through that? Why does it have to hurt? Why can't it just be easier? Why does this have to be a pain in the ass? Why do I have this job? Why did this happen to me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? Why can't masculine just get his shit together? Why can't I had a crisis, y'all? I had a complete why breakdown. I had an existential crisis. Still going through it. I'm getting there. I'm working through it. Okay? To evaluate the meaning of my life. Because I'm still here. And they say I have to be for some odd reason. I don't know. Then I get up here and you people talk about, oh, we need you, you selfish people. You selfish, stingy people. I was at peace. I was on the other side, but no, y'all are needy. So that's what an existential crisis is. Selfish, needy people. For instance, I know that my love, Marie, would like for her dad to be here, but he had work he had to do on the other side. So it is innately selfish to want a person to stay when it's their time to go. And that becomes a question on the lines of some other, along the lines of some other questions. So further into ethical questions and dilemmas is the other video that I posted. Oh, wait, we didn't talk about good and evil. Let's talk about good and evil before we go into some of the ethical dilemmas. The argument for good and evil was balance. Because after you look at existentialism, and that existentialists believed that the only reason that we created or have religion and moral code as people is to keep order. Like I said, we would have a complete total purge and there would be chaos here on earth, as if there's already not half the damn time. It would be way worse. So that being said, there's lots of religion. Taoism is one of them. And a lot of other religions that believe that you have to have balance. You got to have a little bit of both for existence to continue to exist. So basically, they say we need evil. You need bad days so you can appreciate the good days. You need negative events to teach you adversity. To adversity, through adversity, that builds character. You know, I guess I wouldn't be the person that I am had I not gone through certain things in my life, which is true. Because at a point, I know y'all see how I am here, but and people at work, like, I truly believe I didn't get a promotion recently because they are afraid of me. Because I don't take no shit, y'all. I'm not shutting the fuck up. I'm not. If some shit ain't right, yo, hey, this shit ain't right. Over here, it ain't right. This is wrong. This needs to change. This needs to stop. This is what it is. This is what it ain't. This is what it should be. I'm not the kind. And I think that I scare them. But I was not always this way. Had I not had a shitty husband, and then a shitty masculine, and then all before that had a shitty mom, I still got the shitty mom. Shitty husband crossed over, left him. Shitty masculine still out there, not speaking to him. But the shitty mom, she still lurks. Just had an issue with her the other week. Bitch told me I needed attention. Bitch, you just told me I needed. Wouldn't that be your? My son, I was telling my son about it. He was like, "Wouldn't that be her fault?" I was like, "Yeah, right." But anyway, but that's not the case. But okay, because I don't need. I was complaining about a guy texting me like 20 times a day. I was like, "Ma, he was just too needy. He just needed too much attention." She was like, "Well, you do too." I was like, "Bitch, wait." Never have I texted somebody 50 times a fucking day. I might text Marie like 4 or 5. We might go back about 4 or 5 times a day. If it's really bad, we'll talk for a couple hours. But that's the gist of my neediness. I don't know. I expected masculine to be there, and considering I was full on supporting that bitch, he should have been. Period. I should have been able to be all the needy I wanted with his ass because he wasn't paying no bills. Okay? You got to give something, bruh. I'm paying you for your attention, basically. Fully supporting your bitch ass. Okay? So, since I talked to Edith all damn day, right? Me and Marie be on and off. Sometimes, like earlier today, we were messaging. I fell asleep. I was like, damn, I fell asleep. But so I mean, other than that, that's the gist of my need is I wanted to slap my mama through the phone. I was like, bitch, you know what? You are why. You are so many of my whys. Lady, just have a seat. I talked to my sister about it. My sister was like, oh, she says mean shit like that to me all the time. I just say some mean shit back. Fuck it. I love my little sister. She's so go with the flow. I love her. But they say we need these things. We need the good, and we need the bad to appreciate the good, and we need the bad to build us into good people. Because like I said, before this, I was like in my first marriage, half of it crashed and burned because I didn't speak up. If I was the me that I am today, when I first got into my marriage, oh shit would have been gravy, baby, because I would have had it under control. I would have been, and actually, I transitioned to that within that marriage. I got married, and I was with him from the time I was 19 for 19 years. We were married for 15, legally for 15 of those years. We had our first child after we had been together about a year or so. And I already had 2 children upon meeting him. About year 8 or 9 into the marriage. We got married in 2000. Exactly. The twins were born in 1998. We got married in 99. So we got married in 99. So I would say around 2000, when they were about 2. So I'd say about 2002 or 3, about 2 or 3, I began about 2002. Because when you have twins and people are dishing you shit, you have 5 kids with twins hitting you last, and people start dishing you shit, you don't take that shit well. So I began to transition. Tarot's Apprentice, you missed what I wanted you here for. Well, Tarot's Apprentice, they say we need is I'll be okay with just the good. Yeah, but then the argument is that we would get bored. I'm with you. I would not get bored. Tarot's Apprentice, what I wanted you here for was when we discussed Plato. You had something to say because we talked about how Plato just had a disdain for democracy and felt that all people should not have the right to vote because all people are essentially not smart enough to vote. Get her done. Because half this country voted for that idiot. Some of them are not, you not worthy to take away your voter registration card. Take that shit. Everybody don't need one. He felt like most people were not intelligent enough to actually have a say so in how he was dead to the world, in how that people do not have enough knowledge of society and government and the world and finances to actually have a say so in who guides us and who leads us. That's what I wanted you here for. So you're gonna have to go watch that on the playback. But we're all the way on good and evil now. So, but the argument is, Tara's Apprentice, that we would A, get bored if it was good all the time. There's an episode of Charmed. For any of y'all who are the Power of Three fans from back in the day, not the new one, the old one with the good girls, with Alyssa Milano and Holly Holly Marie Combs, and Rose McGowan, where they found the mirror world, where on the other side of the mirror, the other realm, the charmed ones were bad and evil, and they were fighting good, and good lived in the underworld, and demons and evil were above ground. And there became an imbalance by too much good being done on one side and too much bad being done on the other side. That created an imbalance. And so one world was completely and totally bad, and the other world was completely and totally good. And it was just sickening on both sides. In the good world, you would get killed or murdered for even just if someone sneezed and you didn't say, God bless you. Or if you complained, or if you had any type of negative thing to say or do. So it was like, right. That's what I said, Tara's Apprentice. And I talked about how, people want to classify a difference between angels and demons when really there's not. It's just, it's the order of angels, an order of, it's a species, just like human beings, and they come out good or come out bad just like we do. It's a choice, or it's a. So that's the argument for good and evil, that evil has to exist, supposedly. You have to have bad days so you can appreciate the good days. You have to have things that happen to you in the negative that help, that create adversities, that help build character. Because like I said, there was a point that I was a pushover. I was good. I was all good. The Miss and Joy that'll cuss you the fuck out did not exist before my first marriage. People brought that shit out of me. My in-laws, my husband, his bitches, they all brought that shit out of me. His family. If you got kids, man, teachers, man, the right teacher will bring some shit up out of you. I should say the wrong teacher will bring some shit up out of you. Okay? You will never see the rage of a mom until you fuck with her child. Fuck with my child if you want to. Okay? You have got to. So I didn't get to be me. And like I said, I fully believe I didn't get my promotion at work because they're afraid of what I would do. Which I'm a fair and righteous leader, but I'm gonna tell you what the fuck is going on and what's wrong and what needs to. Hey, nah, you're not gonna just do. You're not just gonna say. You're not just gonna treat. You're gonna work just like everybody. There'll be no favoritism. There's gonna be no shit. I'll write you up just like I'll write them up. I don't give a damn. If something is wrong, I'm going to state that something is wrong. I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to stand up for others. I'm not a lay down person anymore. I used to be a fucking pushover. I used to, if someone said something to me that hurt my feelings, or I would just go cry about it. Oh no, not now. I might cry, but when I start crying, you better run. At that point, okay? Because Aries will put their hands on you. I'm Aries. And I try to stay high vibe. But if you push me to a certain point, I'll fuck you up. I'm just saying. I have to have balance within me too. And at a point, I had not any balance within me. I was too good. And something had to happen to change that. And had bad shit not happened to change that, I'd still be sitting somewhere crying. Oh, well, why did they do this to me? Why? Nah. Now it's more like, oh, you want to do that to me? Okay, I got you. You know? So I do agree with that. I needed that bad in my life. Right. Mama there does not play. So I needed that bad. I needed the bad things to happen to me to make me who I am. To make me who I am. I just had somebody, and now I'm skeptical about going to work for that person. I was talking to somebody about a position with their company. I used to work for a company, and that person is still with that company. She was my manager then, and she's a manager now, and she's a GM now at that particular place. And we were talking because I was like, I need a different job, y'all. They fucking me over. And she was like, well, you're welcome to come here. And we started to negotiate terms. And she actually asked me, oh, I got over 25 years of management experience. Okay. She was like, well, what's the minimum pay you would take? So I told her the minimum pay I would take. And then she was like, well, what would you take to come in as a crew member? I said, I'm not coming in as a crew member. I have over 25 years of management experience. I'm too old for that shit. You got me fucked up. And then have somebody's high school child or college child run around telling me they my supervisor. You got me all the way fucked up. I'm too old for that shit. You hire me at management level or you don't hire me at all. And she was like, all right, I heard you. Okay, you heard me. I don't know if I even want to work for you now. I'm so serious. I have a call for something else. I'm going to go do that interview and see what they got to say at management level. I'm not playing. You have to, I'm not taking nobody's shit. It's like when they interviewed me for the promotion at my job, you still had to go through an interview process. And they were like, well, we're concerned because we know you're not happy with the way some of the things are around here. Would you stay? Would you be? Yeah. If you give me this position, I'll be here. I'll retire here. But if you don't, I'm still looking because I'm in a position that I'm overqualified for and I'm not happy. So they picked their poison. I got an interview Saturday at 4. Mm-hmm. It's odd to have an interview on Saturday, but I'll take it. Okay? For a management position that I am well qualified for. So, you got to have your good, and apparently you got to have your evil. I know, Tarot's Apprentice. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She was always there, just not always needed. One day she needed to be. So she showed up. And you know what? My grandmother from the other side said that to me one day. She said, the me, I said, I've turned into you. And she said, the me was always in you. So that's what she meant, because my grandma didn't take nobody's shit. You know, she left my grandfather back in 1960 something, when women didn't leave their husbands back then. She left. She took a job as an elevator operator and left Virginia and went to New York City and took a job as an elevator operator. I'm saying, and worked up from there. Ended up going to nursing school and just was a boss bitch her whole life after that. You just, and I had to embrace, and like she said, I said, I'm turning into you. And she was like, no, the me was always in you. So you're right, Tarot's Apprentice. She was always there. Did I see? Hey, Tarot newbie. Hey, everybody that's checking in. Okay, so we've talked about good and evil. Where were we going next? We were going to talk about some moral and ethical dilemmas. We talked about, when we talked about What was it? With Batman. Um, Let me go back. Where was I? When we talked about damn it, it's on the tip of my tongue. Utilitarianism, and we talked about the death penalty and whether it was moral to kill a person for killing a person. Let me make sure, good and evil. There we go. Okay. Assisted death or euthanasia. Now, we were just talking about this actually at work tonight. It's funny when I'm studying these topics and refreshing my memory about them. The topics and conversations will come up in other areas of my life just randomly. So that helps me to know I'm on the right path with y'all and with what I'm trying to do here with my collective. Because a lady was telling me that she had been consoling her best friend all night over the phone because she had to have her dog put down. The dog had developed brain cancer and had already had arthritis and was just old, and it was just time. But yet, as human beings, we're not allowed to do that. Remember Dr. Kevorkian, y'all? For those of you who are millennials, you may not. For those of you who are 30-ish and older, you should. Dr. Kevorkian, I think they took him to trial, and I don't remember the outcome of said trial. I don't know if somebody wants to Google that real quick. I don't feel like it, but they had a trial. They put him on trial because what Dr. Kevorkian was doing was using a lethal dose of medications to help people who had cancer and other terminal illnesses to end their lives peacefully, painlessly, and quietly on their own terms. He wasn't forcing anyone. They were basically seeking him out and coming to him to say, hey, I want to have control over the way that I die. I think we have a right to that. If we feel like an animal, we can feel like an animal is suffering and there's in too much pain to go on, and that it is kind and humane to put an end to that pain and suffering. Why is that so illegal for people? The other form of if you watch the videos that you didn't watch, what you would have seen was an example of a woman who, if y'all remember the Zika virus that came out, apparently if you became pregnant while having that virus, there was something that it caused, and there was an antibody that caused if the child to have major deformities and very chance at any form of good life. And so there were many couples who chose to, no matter how late term it was, abort their child to prevent them having a life that would be very painful and of little to no quality. And a lot of people were seen as wrong. This is the entire argument for abortion. If I can't provide, or I choose for whatever reason, or even for myself, that I cannot provide, do not have the means to provide, or do not have the desire to provide proper accommodations for a child, so be it support, financial, emotional, or otherwise, and I decide that it is best for me to abort said child, why do some people have such an issue with it? Like I said, if I have a painful form of breast cancer, or if I'm diagnosed with any other of the many terminal diseases, why is it a horrible thing to say, I would like to end my life on my own terms? Right, Zika fetus is no joke. Right, you see what I'm talking about? The fetuses come out horribly. There's very little to no chance of any type of life for them. And like I said, Dr. Kevorkian was putting people down, basically. People that had terminal illnesses who had been diagnosed with it was going to be a very painful path moving forward for them, chose to take their leaving of this world into their own hands and went to him and said, hey, okay, so we're going to die. I would like to go on my own terms. We're allowed to live our lives on our own terms. However, we're not allowed to die on our own terms. I think that sucks. People see suicide in a negative light. In some forms, I do, because it's sad when we lose someone like Robin Williams, who, by all intents and purposes, should still be with us, providing us joy. However, like I said about y'all needy ass people, in a way that's selfish, because we wanted him here for our joy, he was miserable for whatever reason. He was a star seed. And a lot of star seeds cannot find, while they come here and are sometimes incarnated in human bodies, do not find comfort within their human body and just want out. It drives them crazy of sorts because they're not used to the physical form and the harsh and cruelties of this world. So on the level that it's sad for others, I don't like it, which innately is why many times, because I have been suicidal at times. Like I said, when I laid down that night and I went to the other side, a bitch was overjoyed. I was like, yes, I'm here. It's finally over. Yes. Yes. No, you got to go back. I was like, no, I don't want to go back. They were like, I was serious. They was like, you got to go back. I was like, no, I'm not going back. She was like, you got to go back. I'm like, no, I don't want to go back. Why do I have to go back? And she was basically just like, I guess the longer I stayed, the I wish I could have, but she grabbed me with some type of power and shook my ass back. I was irritated. I was highly irritated. I'm still highly irritated. I'm still getting over it. I have not accepted it. I won't go back. But I wouldn't take my life, which at one point I would have. At one point I would have. At one point I tried. It was long ago, but I tried because I just wanted it to stop. This is bullshit. Can we stop this? And so I understand and I identify with people who do make that choice. And I feel like we should have that. I just feel like people should have a choice. Why is it not my choice? Why am I forced to be here? Why? Why? See? Existential crisis. Especially with people with pain. And see, that's the thing. People are relating pain to simply the physical. No one looks at Robin Williams and really knows what mental pain he was in, you know? And those people who are these children are out here, some of our millennials, the poor babies. Some of them are not popping Molly and dying because they're trying to have fun. A lot of them are trying to ease pain. Like I said, we can look at a dog that has rabies and has gone crazy and say, we got to put it out of its misery. We can look at a horse who is too broken or old, and we can say, okay, it's time to put that horse down, or that cow down, or that cat down. But when it comes to a person, no, you just have to suffer. You just have to suffer the awful pain that this cancer, that this tumor, that this disease is going to bring you. You have to fight. You have to put all these chemicals in your body that make it worse. You have to go through chemo. You have to do this. You have to do that. Why can't I choose to end my own pain and suffering? Why is that not a legal thing? There should be a death clinic on every other corner where you just go in and you pay your monies and you go to sleep and don't wake up. Hello, Original Insights in Tarot and Astrology. Thank you and welcome. Everybody, please click like and subscribe. Click like and subscribe. But the Edith said, no, you ain't done. You're selfish. Just selfish. Yeah, me too, Edith. Me too. So I just really feel, like I said, there should be a death clinic on every other corner. It should be one big building, abortion and euthanasia. It should all go together. I mean, we should be able to, you could lay down, die by lethal injection or whatever, a lethal dose of medication that'll calmly, painlessly put you to sleep. Why does a person have to, continue to just, why does it seem bad if a person says, okay, I got cancer, all right, I don't want to fight? I mean, it should be, people don't, like I said, and not enough credit ever. Because the other issue I encountered within my marriage is that, my first marriage, is that I called a women's shelter. Basically, I was moved. He talked me into moving here, away from my people and near his people, and became horribly mentally abusive. And when I called the shelter for battered women, I was told, because I was not physically abused, I was not eligible to receive assistance to get my own place and get out on my own and get from under him and his people. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how is this not? And that actually is something, like, people say, if you hit the lottery, what would you do? And people are like, oh, I'd buy a giant house. And I wouldn't buy a giant house. No one would really know that I hit the lottery. I would buy a big piece of property because I want, like, landscaping. I want a Zen garden. I want a giant, beautiful Asian style garden. So my property would be, and I would like to have a pool for my grandchildren, and I would have an animal area where I had animals that I want. But I'd have a big piece of land, but I would have a little house. I don't want a big house. I might have 5 bedrooms or rooms out of necessity because I have grandchildren. So I'd have, like, a kid's bedroom for the grandchildren. I'd have an adult bedroom for adult visitors. I would have a recreation room. I would have my office and workspace, my personal master bedroom. I'd have multiple bathrooms because I always have to pee. And I would want to be, if, like, all the grandkids are here, everybody needs to be able to go to the bathroom. Nobody needs to hold it. I'd have more bathrooms, I think, than anything else. I'd have a nice kitchen. I wouldn't have, like, an enormous mansion that would require, I don't want a bunch of people up in my house. So I wouldn't want to have a property that would require a lot of staff. Other than the veterinarian that I would have on call for when my pets needed something. I wouldn't have an enormous, like, mansion that like I said, that would be, I'm not that person. I'm not greedy. But one of the programs I would implement would be help for women that are only emotionally battered. Because that was an experience that I went through. To call a women's shelter and have them say to you, well, if he didn't actually physically hit you, there's nothing we can do to help you. When emotional abuse is real. So never is attention lent to the mental and emotional like it should be. Edith, you just stingy. I'm telling you, just selfish. I can't with you. Just gonna keep me bound here because you needy ass selfish people. But so that's an experience that I had, and never is enough. I know. I love you too. I love you too. I'd talk to you on the other side. What are you talking about? You wouldn't miss me. I'd be right there. Just don't even be thinking about me like that. Just selfish. I'd still talk to you all the time. Be telling you that your subscribers are gold diggers and tell us she's a bitch, either. Tell us. Tell her that's why her husband left. But not enough attention is ever lent to the mental, which is why I originally set out to be a psychologist. But clearly, Spirit had other plans. I wasn't supposed to be a clinical. I know that now. Although there is a therapist that over at the woke therapy, work the woke therapist, she's awesome and she's a full clinical and she incorporates her use of spiritual and tarot. So I guess you would have to have your own offices or do things on your own terms the way she is. But still, I'm in the same place. I have my psychological studies. Like I said, I just couldn't pass college algebra and statistics to save my soul. And I have been led down another path. Um, and hopefully this will fully support me one day. I hope, because I can't with these 9 to 5s much longer. It's about to make me snap. So we need to really focus on mental pain and anguish and consider it as tangible and concrete and real as physical pain. And so why can't a person just decide that I'm ready to go? I mean, maybe some people feel like because it's an in the moment feeling that or lend that this too shall pass energy to that situation. But honestly, I guess I have to say that at the time that I attempted to commit suicide, I had not yet I had my oldest son. He was the only one. I had not yet had my second daughter, who is amazing, or my middle son, who is awesome, or my twins, who are dynamic. So I do say that I've made it through that was for the greatest and highest of good of this society. Because one of them, or their offspring, because some of my grandchildren are amazing. Clearly, the Princess of Air is going to be something else. And her other little cousin that was born with her, if any of you are my Facebook friends, you've seen a picture of both of them together. They were born a week apart. They're both Gemini. They are going to be amazing because she's just her entire look. My other one, the Princess of Air's name is Egypt. And the other one, I haven't decided what nickname I'm going to give her yet. But I think I may call one, because they're both Gemini, I might call one the Princess of Air and the other one the Princess of Swords. Because Aubrey looks like, and her mom is like that as well. Her name is Aubrey Leah. And she has a look about her that says, I ain't for your bullshit already. Her look about her, she looks like she is going to just be that grounded person that but yet has an awesome sense of humor. And she's just she's very aware. She wants to see any and everything that's going on, and they're wildly smart and intelligent. And her mom, she was holding her in one arm, her mom, my daughter, and she had her phone in her other hand, and she was like scrolling with her thumb. And this 6-month-old baby, she took her little finger and she reached for that phone. And she was like doing this with her arm. I said, is she trying to swipe? And my daughter was like, yeah, she sees me and she tries to swipe. She knows it does stuff. At 6 months old, this baby is trying to swipe left, y'all. She ain't playing. So for that purpose, I'm glad I was unsuccessful in putting an end to my life cycle way back then, because I would not have brought all these beautiful people into the world and via me into the world. Because I have one granddaughter, Jordan. Oh my gosh, she's going to be amazing. She's an artist and she's very utilitarian and she's kind. There is a very kind soul that resides in her and always has. And my grandson, they're just awesome. They're just awesome. And I don't mean to brag. Yes, I do. I'm lying. I do mean to brag. And so they wouldn't be here had I been successful. And moving forward, because of them, they're the only reason that I see much just, and you all now, Edith and Marie and Edith's stingy ass, selfish ass people, needy ass people. Y'all are the only reasons that I'm okay. That gives me any solace to the fact that I'm here. When I was there, y'all. I was free. Give us free. I was free. So let's see. What other moral dilemmas did I want to bring up? Oh, there was one more. And this is a big one. And I want everybody watching and listening to chime in on this one. This was on The Good Place too. It was hilarious. They used people and train track, and there was blood splatter. It was awesome. You're on a boat, and the boat is sinking. You only have so much time before the boat goes down. Your son, daughter, or loved one, your loved one, is farther from you than these 4 people that are right here by you. So you can stay here and you can help these 4 people get into the lifeboat and be on their way, or you can take that time and go rescue your one loved one. Do you save the one loved one, or do you save the 4 people that you don't know? Chime in. What would you do? Taro's apprentice said he'd saved a loved one. Okay. When after y'all chime in, I'll tell you what my answer is. I'm peely. It's wintertime. I'm chapped. Come on. Where you at? Come on, Edith. Answer. Minnie Love, answer. Marie, you out there. Answer, y'all. Taro Newbie said she saved the 4 people. Toya would save the 4 people. Marie would save her loved one. Edith, who you saving? No, Minnie Love, you can't rationalize. You got to answer straight out. Nice try, though. Why am I buffering? Okay, I came back. Okay. All right. Toya, did you answer the 4 people? Toya said the 4. All right. Shut up. You can't. No, we cannot rationalize out of this. No, we're not. You got to answer. Okay. Minnie Love said I'm saving my loved one. I say this. I am with those of you who would save the loved one. Taro's apprentice is right. That's who my energy is attached to. And I know that person. It depends. I don't think I would save masculine. It depends on who the loved one is. I love him, but those 4 people might have greater good for the world than his frivolous ass. That fool didn't vote. I was through. I haven't given him any sense. That was really a turnoff. It depends on who, but my kids or any of y'all, I would save. I would save one person who was good, and know, because if I know that person is good, I would save that one good person, because I don't know those 4 people. I don't know the character of those 4 people, and I don't know anything about those 4 people. I could be saving 4 bad people, or 4 people with malicious intent. For all I know, they could be the reason the boat is going down. I'm going to save the one person that I know is good. Right, Tarot's Apprentice, the secret folly. Now, if I wouldn't, no, I'm lying. I wouldn't save either one of them. Now, I will say this though. While my first husband, he's already crossed over, and while he did make many mistakes within our marriage, his overall character was good. For instance, masculine will use a person as an ends to a means, like we discussed. Immanuel Kant said you can't do. He's caused so many people hurt and harm and heartache, so many, and I wouldn't save him. But my first husband, if it was my choice between having to save, if it was masculine, his mother and his daughter, and my first husband all standing there, I would have saved my first husband and left the mom, the daughter, and him to all die. They're just not good people. Period. Any 4-year-old child who can look at somebody and say, I hate you and I want you to die so that I can have my daddy to myself, and then proceed to tell multiple lies to get you to get your father to leave this woman. I'm not interested. Your future is looking bleak. You already on some evil shit at 4. There are evil children. That's where evil grown folks come from. I wouldn't save none of them. There's one of my bosses I wouldn't save. There's several of my coworkers I wouldn't save. And some that I would risk my life for. So I would think that's how I would. The Marisa, oh no, yeah, she said that, Marie. She said that at fucking 4 years old, with all intent. So, oh, they vested in me, and I can. Okay, yeah. So I would save. Yeah, I would save my person. I agree. I would save my person. I would save my person. Yep. There was one thing. There was one other thing that was stated by Immanuel Kant that I didn't touch on. And it talked about I think the professor, my ethics professor that touched on this, talked about uninformed consent. And in that means that if I, for instance, the example in the videos that y'all didn't watch were, if I asked you to borrow money and I say, okay, I need it for school, for books for school, you would probably give me the money. But to say to someone, I'm borrowing, I need to borrow some money, and I want to use it to get an Xbox, you probably wouldn't give the person the money. So saying I want to borrow it to get the books and then use it for the Xbox is innately wrong. I feel like that is one of the ethics that is vastly overlooked in life. To lure somebody into a situation that they would not have otherwise taken part in had they known all the facts is one of the most wrong things you can do to an individual. When I married my first husband, 3 weeks before our marriage, he began an affair with my best friend. Had I known that, there'd have been no marriage. I talked to a lawyer down the road who said that ultimately I could have gotten the entire marriage annulled It was horrible. I had a beautiful house in Houston. I was doing fine. I was doing good with my rent. I had a great job. I was lured here by the promise of living in a house that was a little bit bigger. It was 5 bedrooms as opposed to where I had a 3 bedroom. And I was supposed to be able to live there. It was on family property. It was an air house, rent free. Only to get here and determine that the house was pretty much dilapidated and run down. And I was lied to. I should have at that point sued my in-law for that. I did not. Had I known that Masculine's baby's mother was still madly in love with him and legally certified insane, I would not have engaged in said situation. Had I known that his child was evil, and his mother, I would not have engaged in said situation. He covered it up, he lied, he covered it up, and he lied. So these are things that technically can ruin a person's entire life. Tells the Apprentice said my sister does it to our dad all the time, but he's aware because they're both thieves and they know each other. See, that's the other thing about Masculine Tarot's Apprentice. That's what he's used to because his mom is like that. He was raised that way. And that's what brought me to a recent decision about my life as a whole. The decision to completely cut him off because I'm not going to deal with, I don't want to watch my back my whole life. And that's how I feel. If I continue to deal with him, even if he does right, I would have to be worried about all these other people my whole life. I'd still have to deal with these people. I'm not interested. So I'm going to end with that. That was the last thing and the one thing I left out. Manipulation on that level. To lure someone into a situation and not completely inform them of all that is there. That's like the fine print in the contract that's written so tiny that you can't see it, but someone still expected you to sign that contract. You know, you have got to always need gas money but buys weed. Right. 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 Exactly. So to recap, everybody, we touched on Aristotle. We touched on Plato. Well, Aristotle, who talked about what makes people happy and how things work, like what came first, the chicken or the egg, and the nature of our friendships and relationships. We talked about Plato, who was the originator of the twin flame, and basically he called it the split apart theory, and who talked about the moral treatment of others without the basis of religion to help us to do so, not using an end to the mean and people as an ends to a means, doing us to others as you would have them do unto you, applying things to everyone that are just morally wrong, how you shouldn't lie, cheat, or steal, period. And like I said, manipulation and falsely luring someone into situations that they would not otherwise get into had they been fully informed. We talked about Ansel's argument for God. Is there not an actual omniscient God, a hands-on God, as opposed to just a creator and lots of other beings to help us along the way? We talked about the argument for good and evil. We talked about Unitarianism, and we talked about existentialism. And once again, Plato and his disdain for democracy, because no, there should be, just like there's a citizenship test to get into this country, to gain citizenship, There should be a voter test. There should be a test. Remember, I don't even know if it's a subject anymore. We had U.S. government as a subject in high school. There should be some type of course and test that you should have to pass. And on this test, you go to apply for a job and they've got that whole moral test going on where, is it okay to steal a pencil? Or should a person be fired if they're found to be doing drugs outside of the job? And there should be a moral test and a knowledge of government test that people should have to take before we can vote. Every common idiot should not get a voter's registration card. I'm so dead serious. Edith said I got kicked out of that class. I'm so serious. I fully believe that way. After what we have just gone through with 45, this past 4 years and currently, because trust me, we are at risk with this fool in office and his failure to concede and his attempt to bring down, even though I feel like there should be something different than this form of democracy. Like I said, there should be some test that we have to take to qualify to vote. Only learned and educated and moral people should have the right to vote. There should be questions on this test like, if you owned a business, would you hire a Black person? There should be discriminatory questions on this test. Bigots should not be allowed to vote. If you hold a KKK card, bitch, you should not be allowed to vote. If you agree that those children should have been locked up while their parents were defected and sent back to their country, and that we should build a fucking wall, you should not have been allowed to vote. I'm going to stop right there. We talked about euthanasia. And I told y'all about my experience at the Akashic Library. I think it was a good chat. Listen, hell no. Lord, gray sweatpants. Okay. That's why there should be a dress code. I agreed. When schools went to uniforms, I agreed. But what I didn't agree with was that the teachers should have been forced to wear uniforms as well. Everybody should have to wear a uniform or a dress code. Period. Agreed. I take it was a male teacher, Edith? You agree to separating kids like that? Right, I agree. You say you don't deserve to live. But they shouldn't be allowed to vote. That was horrible. How they separate all them kids from their people like that? That was terrible. That was terrible. It's terrible. They should not be allowed to vote. Who voted for this man? Who? I know some of the people. Some people at my job have come out and let me know that they voted for him. I feel completely different about those people now. Completely different. I find it. There's one lady that comes in most mornings when I'm about to get off. I find it very hard to smile at her. There's one security guard that says he voted for him. I feel some kind of way when I have to help him. Right, Tarot's Apprentice. You should not be allowed to wear sweatpants. Right, because you can't focus. You couldn't focus on that. We had a teacher that used to wear mini skirts. Oh my God. And we were like, as students, we were like, I was like, I can't wear a skirt that short. Why should she be allowed to wear a skirt that short? There should be a dress code. That's why I felt. I felt like if the students had to have a dress code, then the teachers wear uniforms, that the teachers should have to adhere to the same dress code. But we had some teachers that all their titties was out. They was wearing mini skirts. I mean, we all just gonna be Mary Kay Letourneau? For real? We had one teacher that would wear like leggings all the freaking time. You see, and Toya, some schools do, but usually they're a private school. Public schools don't give a damn about you or your children. They really don't. I'm peeling. Okay, y'all. So, shit, it's 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. 11:11, y'all. I am going to log off, take a potty break, and we'll come back and do some questions for a couple hours. It's late. This was an awesome chat. Like I said, next Cosmic Chat will be not Thursday, but the Thursday after. We do this one every other Thursday because I need time in between the study. I'm only going to post maybe like 2 videos about the next one. Excuse me. Try to watch them. Just try, okay? Just y'all ain't even trying. Marie tried. Thank you, Marie. Just try. And it will be about star seeds. Okay? All right, so I'm going to log off, run to the restroom, and then, yes, class again Thursday after next, which will be... Where you going? Where we doing? What is my phone doing? Where's my calendar? Why is it popping up on November? It is December now. It'll be the 17th. It'll be December 17th. Okay? All right. Oh, and Ask Miss and Joy After Dark. I was scheduled off tomorrow. And then miraculously, I looked at the schedule and I was scheduled to work, which is one of the main reasons that I'm looking for another job too. How you just gonna keep changing my schedule? And which puts me back at work in 10 days straight with no day off. I'm tired of these people, y'all. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. So Ask Miss and Joy After Dark will be late tomorrow night, but it will be. Okay? So it'll be, I'll get off at 11. I'm going to try to get out of there as quick as I can. And so I should be up here by 12. It'll be late, but I'll be here. All right. So, but for now, I'm going to log off and I'll log back on and we will do some questions for a couple hours. Okay. All right. So y'all know, click away, click back. Okay. See you in a couple minutes.